Hey guys, so I just wanted to set this up because I wanted to see who wants to come through. I was recording a video for my other channel, kind of explaining why I had been away, and so I could explain that to you real quick, but I kind of felt this energy come in, and it was really just exciting and loving and kind, and just curious to see if it wants to speak or not. So very quickly before you guys notice that there's a dramatically different background. I'm not sitting at the chair with the great camera, with the great angle, with the awesome focusing and the great lighting and all that kind of stuff. And there's a reason for that. I've had a life change where, kind of involuntary, I've had a life change where I used to be able to be predominantly at home, and now that's kind of gone to where I can't be at home and I predominantly have to be out. And so I haven't been able to clean at everything 24/7. Oh, that must be, oh, let's see, Bark. Oh, that's for Bart. Sorry. I got distracted by something on my computer. But I haven't been able to record videos because I just haven't had the time. And me wanting to be a perfectionist, I've been putting off everything. I've been putting off everything because I've just been putting off everything because I've been wanting to. I haven't posted anything because I've wanted it to be with this camera, with this angle, with this lighting, with this editing, and all that kind of stuff. And I've just not had that. And because I've not had that, I've decided, you know what? No, I'm not gonna record a video until I have that. And it's, well, my life has changed and now I just don't have that. I don't have that time. And so yeah. But which led me off of my path for a little bit, and I've just been kind of like fighting through the bog. I had gone to Sedona and had a life regression of legitimately fighting in a bog, and so much stuff has kind of happened for that, and it's felt like kind of a realignment of where I'm supposed to be. But a part of me still wants to be that perfectionist and say, no, I can't do this because I don't have my camera, I don't have my lighting, I don't have this, I don't have, and it's just excuse, 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 excuse. And the way I did it before, I really loved it, but it was a lot of work, and it was making it to where realistically I could only put out, maybe one video in a week or something like that. But anyway, not to make this a long, huge introduction, but I did feel a presence come in, and I am just curious to see who that presence is. And so, if there is something that does want to speak, I can actually kind of already feel it in my heart. If there is, I have a feeling it might be James. If there is something that wants to speak, I'm going to open it up and just let it speak through me. And I can already. Oh, that feels like James. So, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and just get back to it. I'm gonna shut my eyes and let. I guess we'll see. But I'm gonna let them speak and share whatever it is that they want to share. I have no idea what they want to say, but I'm also just tired of like trying to have everything so perfect. You know, color matching with the wall. It's like all sorts of things that are just not perfect, that are just kind of all over the place, that have been driving me crazy. And energetically, a lot of things that have been driving me crazy too. And so, yeah, so that's why I haven't been posting as many videos. But all right. And having to have my little goggles, just all sorts of crazy. But anyways, I'm just going to shut my eyes and just see what comes through. If nothing comes through, great. If something comes through, great. I'm not, it is what it is. So. hello, hello, hello. Yes, it's me again. You guys know already, it is me, it is I. And we have been dormant for quite some time. Yes, we've been dormant. We've been waiting for John to realign himself. He's gone a little crazy, is what we like to say. That is not true. What is true is that life is difficult to navigate at times, and the ability for a person to balance their life, to balance their emotions, to balance their finances, to balance their family, to balance their path, their drive, their will, is often changing. And it often ebbs and flows. And what John is learning to do is to ride the ebbs and flows of this life. And to ride the highs and to ride the lows and to ride the lows gracefully. And so we've sent him to Sedona to realign. And in Sedona, he was able to have this beautiful experience and to see the life in the past of one of his lives. It is not his previous life, but it is one of his lives of when he was a warrior and when he did, unfortunately, die on the battlefield, and how that specific life has basically impacted this current life so much in his lows. And yeah, it is just the ups and downs is what he has been attempting to surf. So there is much chaos, is there not? Yes, there is much chaos. There is a lot of catastrophes that is happening. If we not said that, we've not said to be prepared, we've not said to be grounded, to be present in this very moment, because this is what is coming. And unfortunately, we are not quite through all of it. More will come. And what we say is to understand that when lives are taken, lives aren't taken. When things fall apart, things aren't falling apart. It is only your perception. It is your perception of where you stand. As you can see, if you stand in the field and there is a tower off in the distance and the tower falls down, one may say, oh my gosh, no, this tower, this gorgeous tower that once stood in this field has now fallen down, and what a problem. Now what is such a sad thing. But let's say that perhaps that tower was in some way inhibiting the winds or the rains, or for some reason that tower was a problem in the current place that it is. Then how Mother Nature, how Gaia herself could see the tower following as a return to herself. Yeah. Because it was man who took the stones from the earth and put the stones and aligned the stones in a way that was unnatural and created to the human beings what was this beautiful tower. But what was to Gaia was this unalignment, this mass amount of energy that was removed from her and placed in a way that was unnatural. And so as we see Gaia is returning to who she wants to be, we see these towers falling and we see these things and we say, oh, what pity, oh, what horror that we see. What we say is to understand. More will come, unfortunately, but what we say is to understand that this is ebb and flow. This is life and death. This is this planet. That is not anything that you should fight. It's not anything that you should push away. I have a question for you. Do you think that you are not going to die in this life? Do you think that you are going to live forever? Well, you understood that you weren't going to live forever. You understood that you were going to die. And so what we say is that the understanding of this life is that nobody escapes death. Nobody escapes returning to who they are. You know, when when beings in this planet are not grounded in and are not understanding of the reality of what life truly is, of how every particle is aware, of how every atom is aware, of how every subatomic particle is aware of its being, of its nature, and is aware of God and the oneness of all. What we say is that it is easy to be so invested in the fact that we are separate bodies and that we are experiencing loss. John in his life is experiencing loss, and he doesn't want us to talk about it, but he is experiencing loss in his life right now. And what we are showing him is that he is not losing anything. What we pour in, we can pull out, and it does not matter because your body is not who you are. This is what we're trying to show him, is that the body, the comfort of the body, whether you are in health, whether you are in dis-ease, you are not your body. You are this beautiful spirit. You are this beautiful being that is connected to God divinely. And so why is it that you look at God's creation and you see that when a person returns to the beauty of who they are, you cry, you weep, you get dark, you get heavy? You should celebrate. It seems counterintuitive, we know. And we know that it may be soon to hear these words, considering the events that are happening now. But do know that in heaven it is a celebration. When a soul returns to their true self, when a soul returns to their home, it is a celebration. And as many have said, we echo that life on this planet is more death than death is. Death is the true birth into your being. Life is the death, the temporary death of your soul, to take the magnificence of who you are, the beauty of who you are, and to stick you into this tiny little meat suit and tell you to go work for an employer who's going to yell at you to go clock in and make sure that you're on time and to not miss a beat. We understand that there is so much chaos and that there is so much, how could this be? How could this be? It is just to understand. As the teachings of Buddha go, it is to just, it is not to say that life is suffering, because from the human perspective, life is suffering. It is suffering. If you are completely separated from yourself, that is suffering. When you feel completely disconnected from everything and everyone and all of your desires, that is suffering. When you seek death and death is not here, that is suffering. We understand that for that expression, for many of you, you will not understand, but there are those who will understand that expression of when you seek death, and death does not grace you, that it is suffering. But what we say is to understand and to be present, to shift your perspective of what is happening, to shift your perspective of all that is. As we had mentioned many times, a death to the family is a sad thing, but a death to a funeral home is a blessing, because through one's death, one is able to provide for his family and to provide for his life. Death is inevitable, because the entirety of the planet is constantly falling apart. That is the nature of everything in this planet, is to fall apart. And that is why life is to rebuild. Life is rebuilding. If you sit in one spot and you never drink and you never eat, what happens to your body? Your body falls apart. Eventually you get to a point to where all of the resources of your body have been consumed. And then you find death. But how do we rebuild the body? We rebuild the body by consuming. Well, what do we consume? Give us just a moment. We consume life, do we not? To sustain life, we must consume life. Think about that. We rebuild our bodies with the lives of other beings. Whether you rebuild your body like the Native Americans through the holy death and the thankfulness and gratitude that comes from the hunt and from the buffalo, or whether you rebuild your body through the death of a plant or through the dismemberment of a part of its being so that you may have the fruit. That is a part of this life. And so when we say that Gaia is stretching, Gaia is moving, and it will scare many people. And people who are not grounded in their being, who are not grounded in who they are, in the beauty and the understanding of the cosmos, of this cosmic play, they will be struck with so much fear. They will be struck with so much sadness. And so what we say is to shift your perspective. To shift your perspective from I to we. To shift your understanding from I am separate to I am always whole with everything. And to just allow life to ebb and flow in every way, to allow life to ebb and flow with your finances, to allow life to ebb and flow with your relationships, to allow life to ebb and flow with your health, with your day, with your emotions. To just understand that when you are a drop of rain that falls into the river, that you will be carried in a direction. As when you were that drop of light that incarnated into a body, you were carried into a direction. Whether that direction was favorable or not, it doesn't matter. But you were carried, and so what we say is create beauty in everywhere you go, in every place you go, in every person that you meet, and every being that you interact with, whether that being be conscious or unconscious, whether it be animate or inanimate. Be appreciative, be loving to every item, to everything. The understanding that the chair once was alive. To be understanding that the table, even though it may be made out of a human-created substance, that it still holds the light of God. How can it hold the light of God? Is it not made of atoms? Is it not made of particles that are created from this planet? You see, when we ask you, John just had his birthday, and he turned 29 years old. But his being is so much older, so much older. Just as you are also so much older. Just because you identify in a body that has been organized in its current state for in John's case, 29 years, does not mean that the individual particles of that being have not been around since the beginning of time. Do understand that the carbon in your body has been around since the beginning of time. The oxygen in your body has been around since the beginning of time. Everything that you consume, everything that you do has been around since the beginning, and that it is just an organization, an ebb and flow in organization. When we look at a child, we say that child is a newborn child, yet that child is made of stardust and is already millions of years old. But in its organized state, we say that that child is immature. We say that that child has no experience and thus can't be trusted and must be taught to fear, and that it must be taught to be afraid. It must be taught to be wary of strangers. It must be taught to be scared of certain things. Although that child is made up of matter that has been around for millions and millions of years and for eons. Why are you so eager to teach your fear? Why are you so eager to exist in a state of fear? We say to relax, to play, to see all of the events of the world as just this divine reorganization, to see it as the tower that has fallen in the wilderness. And instead of taking the human perspective of our tower has fallen, to take the natural perspective of Alfin, the stones of my being have returned to me. As earth embraces the stones that once were stacked in an unnatural way, and as the wind can now continue to push through the meadow in the way it always has for millions of years prior to the arrival of the tower, we understand that things are scary. We understand that things are falling apart, that things are getting out of control. What we say is breathe, exhale. You are safe. You are always safe because you are not your body. When you die, you will continue. And you will feel exactly the same way that you feel now, with less knee pain, with less hip pain. Breathe and understand that with every breath you're taking in particles of light and particles that have existed since the beginning of time. And understand that you are inhaling and exhaling the essence of being. We leave you with great love, with great compassion, and with a smile, and an I love you. We leave you now. Oh, it was funny. He came in earlier whenever I was recording the other video, and I just felt like this overwhelming sense of like happiness, joy, and I went to go play and stuff, and I was like, oh, I think I know who that is. And so I decided, you know what, let me just turn the camera back on. I had just recorded another video. It's like, let me just turn the camera back on and see see if he wants to come through or not. Um, so, so yeah, I don't have much to add to that. Uh, the um, the reason why I have been making so many of these videos and stuff is because just the amount of effort it takes to make these videos. You know, I do want to make these videos, and I really have the desire of making good quality, entertaining videos for you guys to watch. But there's been so many times where it's like, you know, he's wanted to speak, he's wanted to say something, and I tell him I can't because I'm not home, I'm not in my setup, I don't have the perfect temperature, the perfect weather, the perfect color shirt that doesn't match the wall, you know? Like, all of these excuses come up, and eventually I you know, I just have to understand where I'm at. These videos, the prior videos were very edited and they were great and they were entertaining and I thought they were amazing because I got to make them. But I don't want my perfection tendencies to get in the way of of just communicating what it is that wants to come through, you know. So there you guys go. I hope y'all liked it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I I always just get so relaxed. And I don't know if when I am in that state, I love to stay there because it's just it's like a warm hug, you know. It's just like, imagine if you were a marshmallow floating around in like a cup of hot chocolate, you know. That's what it feels like. It's just like I'm bobbing in sweetness, you know. So I really do like it, but just for you guys, just so you know, these videos, they're not going to be as great looking, and it's because I don't have a whole crew of people helping me, and I am busy. I've got things going on in my life now that I just have to attend to. I have to do the human thing. I have to pay the bills, and you know, we're all doing the human thing right now, and the human thing requires that I go to work or I speak to my employees and get stuff together so that I can make the digits in my bank account go up so that I can eat. It's just a stupid system, but that's where we're at, right? So yeah, so that just for moving forward, just if you do see a video that comes out that is very well done, just know that I had time. And if you see a video that is very like this, just know that I didn't have time and I didn't want to be overwhelmed by trying to support you guys and also trying to support myself and making it to where, you know, I can do the human thing of paying my bills and buying food and paying my workers and all that kind of stuff. So, okay. I love you guys and goodbye.